How are you going to do that?
I want to lower the bounce back rate.
Yeah.
Improve the conversion rate of visitor to customer.
Yeah.
By making the linear path easier to follow through.
Easier to follow the products through. Right. Okay.
I want to set realistic goals. So rather than just saying I want to get this up, I want to set a target of I don't know, 4,000 visits at the end of 6 months' time.
Yeah.
So that I've got something that's a definite goal to work towards.
I think you will overreach that if you pull in the inbounds and concentrate on a small number of the right phrases. I think you'll be able to overreach that. Yeah. Mainly just from your organic stuff.
I want to get this up and running with the email.
Yeah. So capture the details and then start making a friend out of them
and keep in touch with the community, so
brilliant.
that I'm keeping up to date with what's happening.
Fantastic. So, any standout moments? And you talked about Eureka stuff, but what are the sort of key points that you kind of are taking on board? If you were to say just 2 or 3 of them or something like that, or in one single main one.
I think the fact that it wasn't rocket science and that it was something that was quite doable.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that we definitely want to get across.
Yeah, it wasn't some. It was very going back to basics, really, looking at some of the basic things and realising that it could just be one word that was making the difference between down here on the next page or up here. Yeah. And that in actual fact it was probably just some small changes to 1 or 2 little things that was going to make the difference. Small
changes add up, basics in place, and measure what you're doing and think intelligently about how you respond to it. That's the formula, is it, for
I'm going to be a guerrilla now. I think that's
awesome. Yeah, you're going
targeting some battles.
Guerrilla warfare and all that. Fantastic.
Yes.
That's absolutely brilliant. Any heckles?
Yes, heckle me.
You've got quite a lot of products on your site. Was there any part of you that thinks it might be easier to narrow it down a little bit?
Frequently, when I'm given a list of things that when I'm given a list of altered prices, and I've got probably a couple of hundred things that I've got to go into each one and change.
You're not finding that kind of Pareto's 80-20, are you? You don't get 80% of your sales from 20% of your products. You're not. No. Are there any kind of winners that you have, or it's just real winners? Or is it just spread across?
The three main winners are the 3 categories that we predicted when we set the website up.
Right.
Would be our main categories, which are the bits, the leatherwork, and the embroidery.
Yeah.
The company that set the website up was convinced that we would sell more chemicals and more of the basic products, but we were proven to be right. So we knew our product pretty well. And so
whatever you're doing bricks and mortar, face to face, is transferred online.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff that people are really interested in.
But the leatherwork that we sell is, it sounds a bit arrogant to say it's better quality, but it's better in that they can buy individual pieces. They haven't got to buy the whole bridle, so it is a lot more accessible to customers.
I think Simon's point maybe is about this idea. I don't put words in your mouth, but is it a case of that you could do even better by showcasing a smaller number of products in a better way, with each one having a video, each one having more of a persuasive
and having more of a website for each one almost. Yeah, a website.
Like you've featured products. It
has, over the course of the last 7 weeks, occurred to me that, it's
you're having to spread yourself very thinly, aren't you? And do you kind of do a kind of mediocre, okay job across nearly 2,000 products, or do you go, okay, well, let's try and identify which are going to be the best sellers and really go to town with a video of it in action?
The problem is that even now, I mean, in the bits alone, 1/3 of the products that's on are bits of varying sorts, and even now we get customers that ring up and say, I didn't see it on your website, don't you do it?
Right.
And it is very much like that we've had people say, well, I knew you didn't do it because it wasn't on your website. Yeah. So where do you stop? There just physically isn't the number of man hours to try and keep on top of.
Yeah, it's kind of almost diminishing returns, isn't it? It's if you're going to sell one bit every 2 years down in your very, very niche stuff, you know, you've got a cost of maintaining the price, putting the thing on in the first place, and so on and so on. And, you know, it's kind of, as great as the long tail, but there is a maintenance issue amongst any product that goes on there, isn't there?
Because whilst it doesn't cost any more physically on the website to have 2,000, 3,000 products, there is a cost in man hours.
Yeah.
And if you're being taken away from keeping what you've got on relevant and up to date by trying to stuff as many other things on as possible, then there is the danger. The other thing is that I was concerned about the number of pages that we'd got. So on the bits alone, you can see that I've got all these different, to try and subcategorise it. And I keep splitting it and splitting it because I'm trying to make it a maximum of 6 pages on each subcategory.
Yeah. Because
otherwise people...
And it gets huge, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was picking up on Simon's theme. If it was my site, I would pick 100 products and showcase them. I'm not saying I would take off the other 1,700, but I would look and go, which are the ones that we really want to go with? And I would pick, because you can't do that experience for all 1,800, can you? Imagine doing 1,800 videos. You know, you'd be there 5 years later. Yeah, I'd pick sort of 50 to 100 products and go, right, these are our sort of showcase products, and they have almost their own sort of sections on the website, and then behind it is, can't see what you want, okay, then you delve into the depth, and it's that, you know, going to a carpet warehouse, 12,000 carpets, well, let's help you kind of narrow that down. Probably most people are going for these kind of stuff, but we do the full works if you want it.
That's what we were trying to do when we split this box of 9 pictures down, to try and say, well, this is what's, you know, these are some of the things that we do. If you want to go into it further, you know, you can do. So that was what was behind, and that got changed as a result of one of the sessions that we were doing.
Yeah. I'd go with this. I'd go with this sort of 3 sub-indexes. I'm not necessarily saying you should do silos, but 3 sub-indexes in there. That one of them about embroidery, one about bits, one about the leatherwork and tack or whatever. And that on each one of those pages there's say 10 or 20 products for each, and you're kind of narrowing people's choice down and going, well, okay, we do everything, but you know, these are the kind of the things that you would probably will want, because actually, you know, 1,800 products can be quite debilitating, and then what motivates the monkey is that we don't want to confuse the monkey.
Yeah.
You know, and if you exactly know what you're looking for, that's okay, you might be able to find it, but if you're not quite a member of the clique, then you could look at this and go, actually, this isn't for me. You know, I could make a silly purchase here. Yeah. Maybe I need Decathlon after all. You know.
Well, the majority of the people on the bits do know what exactly what they're looking for.
Maybe the bits is not a good example.
No.
Maybe the leatherwork or something.
But I did take on board what I think it was one of you that said about doing a basic. It might have been Steve that said if you were doing I think it was him that had a look at the website, and he said if you were a beginner rider you should have a section. That is something that I'm going
perhaps
to see.
you could add that as functionality on the website, where it's what are you, and they can choose beginner, you know, improver, intermediate, advanced, competitive, and based on that it removed or recommended products, so it would kind of go. I've seen that done quite well on websites. So what are you? Right, okay, let us help you narrow that 1,800 down.
Genre that they're in, whether it be dressage, show jumping.
Yeah, you won't be giving them a pair of spurs.
I have started doing that again on the bits. So we have got show jumping bits and in hand bits, so that for dressage bits, so that it is trying to. So that is going.
But always, I think the issue is always look at the website from the user's perspective, and there isn't one single user, is there? There isn't one single person. There are people at different stages in their, you know, riding ability.
And that's when we were talking about keywords, and I said I don't know where to start, because when we had to write our meta tags when the site was set up, we wrote a list of about 50, and then had to start knocking some of them off because of it. And I think that eventually that is going to be something that we're going to have to start looking at and having a bit of a shift around with.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, not there.